Family vlog.
Hello guys, welcome back to the vlogs. Renault Cardiff has let us borrow the Renault Kangoo EV and they've asked us to do an honest review on it. So let's have a look at this thing. Well, it pretty much looks like a van from this angle. This is the crew van version. So we've both been driving this vehicle. What do you think?
I love it. I like the seating position. You can get nice and close as well,
Yeah.
can't you? Because what I was thinking is if someone had a little business, florist or
Yeah.
I don't know, Meals on Wheels, it's perfect size.
Yes.
And you're not going to go in a huge radius doing something like that. So if you
Yeah.
had a charger at your business premises or at home and you could charge every night, it'd be ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Because this only has, in the cold weather, a 100-mile range. When we charged it last night, this morning, it had 108 miles on there. But the least we've seen is 100 miles on a cold morning. Now that could put some people off. And I will admit, this isn't for everybody. If you travel miles and miles up and down the motorway every day, this is definitely not the van or vehicle for you.
But there's lots of scenarios where it would work and save people a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I ran my own carpentry business for many years and this would have been ideal for me. I can park it outside my garage every night, plug it in, charge it, job done. You would save yourself an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
You really would. Obviously, this is the crew van. And I've got to say, as a family vehicle, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's really shocked me.
Yeah.
That's what's really shocked me.
There's loads of space in the back, and we were saying if you had a car seat to
like
get
like a child seat
in and out,
yeah,
it's brilliant, isn't
yeah,
it?
you know, I mean, we've had a few children, and we know what it's like when you're trying to put a car seat. There's particularly the ones which you carry with you and you bring them into the car. They can be a right nightmare to get access to. But with these, with the sliding doors, I tell you, it would have been an absolute breeze. And a lot of cars, you struggle to get the pushchair in the boot. You could just stand it up in the back of this.
Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant.
It could probably still be assembled, and you can stick it in the back.
That's right. But EV, petrol or diesel, this would be an absolute brilliant vehicle. I had a company van going back a few years ago, and that was a Renault Traffic. Do you know what? Never had a day's trouble with it. And the guy I worked for never serviced it, nothing. And I was there for, I think, 4 years. I had that van, and never had a day's trouble with it. But like I say, whether you went for the EV version of this, petrol or diesel, it is such a practical van. I was shocked at how much I like this van. The driving position is brilliant. You're nice and high up. The windscreen is massive.
Yeah,
you feel like you've got so much view.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. But the electric, I absolutely love. There's lots of people who are going to comment on this video saying they hate EVs and electric is rubbish. Every time we do an electric vehicle, even when we do videos on the Tesla, people are saying they're rubbish and all that. You know, you'll never stop the petrol heads. And don't get me wrong, I've loved my cars over the years. I really have. But the electric, until you have driven an electric car, I don't even comment, because they are such a smooth drive, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's just such a nice place to be.
People wouldn't go electric.
It's not for everyone, for sure. If you've not got facilities to charge your car at home or at work,
it's not practical.
It's not practical. So if you've got off-road parking and you can put a charging socket there, or failing that, you could just buy the adapter and you can plug it into your power socket in your garage, you know, on your driveway.
In my opinion, electricity is the way forward.
Without a shadow of a doubt, whether people like it or not.
I just don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because it's a third of the price.
Yeah, but they are more expensive to buy. But apparently the basic version of this, so I'm guessing that would be without the seats in the back, it would just be a normal van, is advertised from £160 a month. So if you run a business, £160 a month, and you will save probably £100 a month in fuel.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, it's I don't know, it just makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I just think if you run your own business and you are looking to get a new vehicle, then don't dismiss.
Especially if you work locally.
Weigh up your costs, and you'll be surprised at how much you can probably save.
Yeah.
On having one of these.
If you've got less than 100-mile commute that you do in a day, this thing is an absolute treasure. It really is. On a daily, you'll save yourself an absolute fortune. You really will, because the electric over the petrol or diesel It's absolutely bonkers. Like I said, when I ran my own business, I was a local carpentry firm. I would never have done 100 miles in a day. So that was absolutely perfect for me. I could have probably got away with doing that in a week because I always worked locally. We went to the tip the other day and we kept all the 4 seats up. We had a double mattress in here. We had a single mattress in here and a load of other rubbish as well. And it was no problem. Another thing I love in the back is these seats, right? The way they fold down. Literally grab hold of the back of that, flip it. But look how the seat, the mechanism in the seat, goes down in one go, flat. Let me just say, if you're looking for a practical vehicle, if you've got young children and you want to take their bikes in the back, you want to get their car seats in and out, you don't have to worry about them opening the back door and hitting another car because you've got sliding doors. Honestly, it actually blew my mind a little bit, this app, because I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do.
No, I know.
And you especially, because you know, when you first got in it, you was like, oh, I don't know. But within 20 minutes of driving
Not
it,
even
she
that.
loved it.
I was like, I love it. I like the height, being higher, and the driving position. It's nice. It's nice and practical and cheap. Which is what I love about it.
Yeah.
I hate spending money on fuel.
And you know, it's not even just spending money on fuel. I hate getting fuel. Standing there with that stink of petrol. I mean, I suffer with asthma, so sometimes I come away from the petrol station, and I'm kind of like gasping for breath, you know. So if you're asthmatic, you want one of these.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You don't need to smell all those fumes, mate. I tell you. And you know what? Another thing with electric is the torque off the mark, off the lights. This thing, you just put your foot down and it just shoots off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good. Really good. On the motorway, brilliant, holds the speed really well. Great, plenty of power for overtaking. Really good. I really can't fault it. And you know one other thing? It is the simplest thing you've ever driven. Honestly, it's just like a go-kart to drive.
Yeah. You
put it in drive, very simple. Put it in drive and that's it, you go. And what I love about this is, over the other cars that I've driven, is the regen on this will slow you down to a stop, which you can literally drive this just using one pedal. As long as you don't tailgate, you can use this one pedal, and as soon as you take the foot off, it starts slowing you down, and that regenerates the power. So you get more bang for your buck. Is that what they say? I don't know. You just get, it gathers more miles. But I really love that. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I don't really like that idea with the electric cars when it slows you down, but it's only getting used to it. And when you get used to it, you just won't even use your brake. Genuinely, it's just... And that is another thing as well. Wear and tear on these, you know, there's far less servicing involved. You will never need a pair of brake pads. I don't care if you keep this for 10 years, you will not need a pair of brake pads, because the regen is what slows you down, not the brakes. And not unless you use an emergency stop, then you use the brakes.
We've been driving it. We've had a good few hours driving it now, haven't we? Like, I mean, over
we've done
a couple of weekends, and
we've done about 400 miles in it, I would have said.
We still love being in it and driving,
we do. It's really comfortable. It's nice driving. Like I say, the driving position's great. But what is different with this to others? Now, some people might like this because if you're transitioning from a petrol car to an electric car, you're going to love this because you've got a key exactly the same as a normal car. You've got a key. You put the key in the ignition. You turn it as if you're starting it. A light comes on the dashboard. It says go. And then off you go.
It couldn't be any more simple.
It could not be any more simple, honestly.
And the dials, it just looks like a petrol car.
It does.
Like vehicle, doesn't it?
But there is something nice about the old-fashioned dials. You know, you've got a rev counter, the same as if you had a normal car. Although it's got a normal fuel gauge type thing for the battery, which at first I thought, I'd rather know in miles how many miles you got. You can select that on the dash. There is a little digital display, and it shows you how many miles you've got left. And another thing I'll say about this is, if it says it's got 100 miles, you're going to get 100 miles out of it. You know, some people say that there's cars out there which, you know, they say, or, you know, it tells you this, but, you know, one thing with this, if it says it's got 100 miles, you will get 100 miles. And actually, myself and Kai, we went to Bristol the other day, and we decided to come back nice and steady, just take our time. It said we had 40 miles to get home, and it only took 35 miles of battery. And like I said to you, I'm not being paid by Renault to say this. It's not a sponsored, you know, they've let me use this vehicle, you know, and asked me to do an honest review, and I'm doing an honest review. So let's get to the points which I'm not so keen on. This vehicle, in my opinion, should have parking sensors because you've not got any rear view mirror. You know, I'm sure it's an option, but it's not actually on this one. The turning circle on this, it's not good. On a general day, we drive a Ford Ka, and the turning circle on that, as you can imagine, it's very small, is absolutely fantastic. But this, the turning circle is not that good, is it?
No, it's not brilliant.
No.
But I wouldn't let that put me off.
It wouldn't put me off. No. No, but I just want to be honest and say to the things that I don't like about this. Yeah. And that is one thing. The turning circle would have put me off buying it. Like not in a million years, it wouldn't.
3-point turn in a standard street, could you? It's more like
a 4-point turn.
Yeah. So,
but like,
is that an issue? Not really.
And it certainly wouldn't put me off, and I know it wouldn't put you off. And again, it's just getting used to it. I think it seems more of an issue because our car is such got a good turning circle on it. We can literally do a U-turn in our street, you know. But with this you can't. It's a 3-point turn. Is there any other bad points you can think of? The glove box. I mean, to look at, it looks quite big, but when you open it, it's not massive.
It looks massive from it here, and then when you put the documents in, the manual.
Yeah, and it's not that big, no.
But then,
but there's plenty of cubby holes. You've got a lovely big cubby hole here on the dashboard. That's brilliant, especially if you're a business. I know I always had a folder. That would have been absolutely perfect. Got a couple of cup holders down in the centre, and you've also got reasonable sized door pans. Yeah, guys, I think that's it. So, out of 10, what would you give this out of 10? Honestly, no.
Because of there's no parking sensors, and I would need that, I would say a 9, 8.
Would you?
Yeah.
I see, that's really good.
I love driving it.
I was going to say an 8.5. But let's not forget, guys, I've driven Tesla Model S. It does 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds or something ridiculous like that. You know, so I've got a lot to compare it with. But would I own one of these? I would own one of these at the drop of a hat. I really would.
Definitely.
It is so practical. Take a test drive for yourself. I'll put a link in the description down below to Renault Cardiff, and I'll put their telephone number in there. Give them a ring. Take you for a drive. But try not to judge these electric cars until you've actually been in them and driven them, because you can't. Yeah, there's people who are saying, oh, they're stupid, they're this, they're that, and most of them have never even sat in one. You know what I mean? It's just like, you've got to get behind the wheel, you've got to drive it to see why. You know, you've got to see why the hype is so high with these. You know, the instant torque. Electric is definitely the way forward.
Try one.
And I would definitely buy one of these.
Yeah.
Give them a call, guys. Give them a call. Email them down below. I'll leave a link in the description. Go and drive it and see what you think for yourself. Yeah?
Do it.
Yeah. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this review. Don't get lost or squashed, and we will speak more soon.
Bye.
Bye.